Thank you very much, Gabor, for the great introduction. Much appreciated. Welcome here from Austria. I'm actually on holidays in a nice wooden cabin by the lake, as you can see in my background. So I want to bring you some holiday spirit from Austria, but as well some insights. Why exactly now, in times of crisis, your employees are the best recruiting channel you have. And I would like to start with a story about Caesar. Caesar built the most powerful army of his time. And in order to do this, he used referrals. And apparently he was one of the first historical people who used referrals to recruit new people. So what did Caesar do? Caesar paid his soldiers additional 30% of their salaries if they bring a new strong soldier to the Roman army, and this helped him to build this great army of his time. And Caesar had good reasons to rely on referrals, and all of these reasons are still true today. We conducted a study. This is mainly across Germany, Austria, Western Europe, where we asked companies what the state of their referral program is today in 2020. A large majority, 85% of organizations said that they've already included employee referrals as a channel in their recruiting process. And half of them stated that they already managed to save significant costs through this referral channel. And what we have seen as well, that a lot of them stated that on average, they can hire a new candidate through referrals in just 1 month. And this is really across all industries. And 1 month can be very, very fast for most of these industries. So it is proven that referrals is a channel that is already deeply integrated into a lot of recruiting strategies. It is a channel that can help to save costs, and it is still a channel that helps to recruit much, much faster. We have a lot of other very interesting benchmarks and numbers around referral programs in our study. I think Gabor promised that he'll send you the study after this conference if you're interested in some additional numbers. But now, of course, 2020 was a little bit of a different year, and we have really dig deep and try to find out how the crisis really affected referral programs as a recruiting channel. I think I don't have to go through this. You've all experienced this, that as a society we have felt that we have grown together. There was much more solidarity. People stood up for each other, supported each other. We moved more into a we and further away from just me. And this is something that we have seen on a company level as well. This is just some posts I took out of LinkedIn. And since I think COVID started, I've never seen so many thank you messages from CEOs thanking their teams. We have seen this in the past before, but not in that magnitude. This is just examples from Lidl, Vodafone, and Coca-Cola, where they all realized, hey, without our great teams, we cannot go through such a crisis. So it has changed quite a lot on an organizational level as well. And it is something that we have, interesting enough, seen in our data as well, that the whole market in the few months since things started here in March in Austria, the whole market has shifted from more the traditional recruiting much more to social recruiting. If you look at the statistics of job boards, there were two phenomena. One, of course, job postings went down, obviously, but another interesting phenomena was that applications went down as well. So the candidate market kind of the candidate market was on hold as well, waiting to see how the world develops and not changing jobs at the moment. A lot of candidates say, no, I have to go through this crisis with my organization before I start looking for a new job as well. So we saw that these traditional channels really started to freeze during such a crisis. Whereas what we've seen in our data was that one thing really peaked, it was referral activity. And you can see this in more detail on my next slide. So what we've measured is how many talent scouts, that's kind of referrers in our digital referral program, how many referrals, candidate referrals do these talent scouts bring per month. And we have seen that January, February was kind of a steady increase, and then in March we had a massive drop as well, because again, everything was chaos. But then we saw something very interesting, that we really saw a massive peak that we never saw before in our data for April and May. So we saw that employees of organizations were much more open to make referrals, to become an ambassador for their organizations, and to help their friends to find a new job. So based on our data, we really saw that referrals received a massive boost through this crisis. And in our view, there are totally three main reasons why it makes a lot of sense for you to implement referrals as your #1 recruiting channel. First of all, what we've just seen, we see that the activity in referral programs is currently much, much higher. Employees are much more likely to become active ambassadors for your organization. And another thing is, they don't expect bonuses in this weird times at the moment. And they just want to support their friends and the organizations to get through this together. The second thing we see is that the talent pools of your employees are growing bigger. More and more people are unfortunately becoming unemployed at the moment due to the crisis. And this means that your employees will know more people who are currently unemployed or afraid of becoming unemployed, meaning they have more people they could refer to your organization. So their network of potential candidates for your organization is just growing at the moment. And last but not least, if we see this as a continuous trend, that maybe in some areas unemployment rates will rise, this will mean for you that in the future you'll receive much more applications. More applications are usually nice, but on the other hand, they mean much more administrative effort for you. And what we have seen that through a referral program, you can keep the number of candidates very, very low, because you have your employees as a first filter. And at the very moment, we see from our data that one out of 4 referrals is getting hired. So a very, very high quality ratio, especially if you compare it to other recruiting channels you might be using. And so coming to the point, how can you now leverage this? How can you implement an employee referral program that really works? How can you make your existing referral program really fly in this special time? And before I start with this, I would like to show you a little bit of data behind the success of referral programs. Because what we see is that most referral programs never really reach their full potential. This again is quite fresh data from 2020. Here we asked 150 organizations that have implemented a referral program. We asked them, how many of your hires are coming through referrals? And we see the large majority, so 30% of all participants answered, yeah, we receive like maximum 10% of all hires through referrals. And if you take like the first 3 months, so the majority of all participants said we receive under 15% of all candidates through referrals. Receiving 15% of candidates through referrals is nice, it's okay, but we see that the potential is much, much higher. There are organizations, you can still see them in the chart here, that have 30, 40, 50+% of all hires through referrals. So the question is, how can you really leverage this opportunity? And by the way, this is really kind of an European versus US phenomena. I think the US is very much based on referrals, and here we see that in the US, much more candidates are getting hired through referrals. So every 3rd candidate in the US apparently is already getting hired through a referral, whereas in Europe, on average, we are at 12%, which is kind of in line with the statistics we saw from our study. And before we move on now, I would really be interested how this is looking for you in Romania. And if I ask you, yes, perfect, we have the survey on, this is anonymous, so I would be really interested, how is the state of referrals for you in Romania at the moment? How many of your new hires are already coming through referrals? That's the question, and I'm really looking forward to your answers. Will Romania be above or below our more Germanic-driven statistics? That would be very interesting. Okay, so we'll see the results now. Thank you very much for displaying the results. Okay, very interesting. I think the distribution of answers seems very similar to our study. We have the majority of answers in the 6 to 10%, and the majority of answers are in the first 3 columns. So the majority here is as well hiring like below 15% of all candidates through referrals. However, very interesting, we have 3 participants who said, yeah, we have 30% plus, so already congratulations to that. I think it's great that even in this panel here with, I think, 70, 80 participants, we already see that there is the potential to have more. So thank you very much for this very interesting survey and for providing your answers. And as you see, I think very, very similar to us. And what I would like to focus now in the last 7 minutes that I have for my presentation is, how can you grow this number? How can you get more hires through referrals? We have 3 points that we brought, or hints, tips, experiences that we brought with us based on the experience we have with our customers. And first of all, it's kind of a no-brainer for most of the things, but it's as well for a referral program, the foundation is communicate. Communicate with your referrers. They are the engine of your referral program, and you really have to make sure that they stay active. The first very important topic in a referral program is that you should not just have your open job sitting somewhere in your intranet and you lay back and just hope that your employees will go to this page and will kind of filter through it and understand what you're looking for. No, if you want to have referrals, you'll have to actively send open positions to the right employees. And if you're a large company, this, of course, you have to be careful that you don't spam everyone with every job, but you need to send them jobs very, very targeted so they can start making the right referrals. The second point is that if you provide a referral to your employer, this is usually kind of you've talked to this candidate, you convinced him or her that you're the right organization, you sent the CV, and then you're just waiting. And if you now don't receive any feedback from your organization about the status or quality or next step of this referral, then this is the #1 reason why employees will stop making referrals. So you need to keep them updated about the referral and at least give them a feedback. Hey, this is a great referral, or no, this one didn't fit for this and that reason. And last but not least, what usually most referral programs work with money, so you just pay money together with the salary. There's no big celebration, no one knows about it. And if you really want to make your referral program thrive, you have to share the success stories. You have to constantly inform the whole organization that your referral program is really, really working well, and which people came through referrals, who is your best referrer, and so on. So constant communication is really key to success. A second very, very important point is think beyond money. The large majority of organizations still work with this big monetary rewards. They have this, I think on average, we are at around 1,000 euros, so we'll have the statistics soon. And 2/3 of all organizations still believe that cash bonuses are the most effective reward for employees to really have a successful referral program. And if we look at the statistics that we received, this is dollars now below, we see that the majority of organizations that we surveyed and paid between $1,000 and $2,000, some really up to $5,000 and below and above. But there was quite a lot of organizations that paid less than $250 as well. And there's the big but. Our whole data shows that the amount you pay does not have a significant influence on how many referrals you receive or how many hires you will have through referrals. This is the statistic here. We don't have to dive through it. I think this is just a very important information for you, that it's not like you double your reward and you'll receive double the referrals. That's not how it works. Sometimes even it's the other way around. So we see that there's no significant impact of the reward and the activity of your employees in a referral program. And this is leading us to the point number 3, where we see how organizations can really drive activity in the referral program. And this is very simply by saying thank you. And I think that the basic understanding behind this is that don't see your employees as headhunters that will just receive money if their candidate gets hired. Understand that your employees are rather digital influencers, brand ambassadors for you. So if your employees are constantly sharing jobs on their LinkedIn page, then this is really generating a very good benefit for your organization. It's driving your employer brand. So what you have to make sure is that you say thank you for the small steps in the whole process as well, and not just for the big hire at the very end, because this is something that an employer cannot actively influence at all. So give them rewards for what they can influence. And I would like to end with a small story how another organization did this. This is an example of Edeka. It's one of the biggest retailers in Germany. They had a referral program before, it kind of died. They used it for all areas: logistics, cashiers, administration. And what they started doing is they tracked everything their employees did in the referral program. How many jobs did they share on social networks? How many people clicked on these shares? How many people applied through these shares? So the whole funnel they measured, and they gave points to their employees for everything they did, not just for the hire. And always the employee with the highest ranking points received this car for 1 month. And especially in logistics, this really helped to drive the activity of the talent scouts. Everyone wanted to have this car for a month. They managed to decrease the number of rewards they paid because they just had to buy this car once. And this was an extreme activator for the whole referral program and brought them from this 5% more towards the 30%. So say thank you and understand your employees not as handhunters, more as digital influencers. And this is it from my side. Thank you very much. And great to be here in Romania, even if just remotely.